Hello and welcome to this screencast. In this screencast, I'll be going over the Project 1 rubric, and I'm going to be showing you how to assemble it all into a digital portfolio. I have made a few changes from what the rubric was last week to kind of update some of the things that we've done for class. They are here in Module 2, which is technically Module 3 for our class, but they were to, the Google Slides was not as it was written originally. Now it's just the Google Slides that you created was just about yourself, along with a slide that you imported from student's presentation. Then also I'm just going to have you embed a Google form onto your digital portfolio. So the first thing to do is go over to your digital portfolio. In this case, I am at a Weebly site that I've created. Follow me, and the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go to Pages, and we're going to create a new page. And this page I'm going to call Digital Portfolio. So you can just create a page by clicking the orange Add Page button and call it Digital Portfolio. I like to go with a no header, it just cleans things up a little bit. So then I'm going to click Save and Edit. And now I'm just going to walk my way through the rubric right here. The first thing it says I need to do is link or embed the introduction to your best and worst lessons. We did that, most of you did that on Haiku Deck, so I am just going to grab this one. Right here I'm going to click the Share button. And that's going to bring up another screen here, and I want to grab the HTML for that. I can click here, copy that. I can go back to my Weebly, and now what I can do is grab an embed code, drag it over here, and now I can just paste in code for that. So now, boom, now I've got my Haiku Deck in there. Take a second to load there. So there's that Haiku Deck in there. Now the next thing on there, it says you want to link to an annotated DGO page. So now I'm going to go to DGO, and I'm going to find something that maybe I was using in class with my students. So here's something about detecting air leaks that we did in our heat unit. So I'm going to grab this. I hover over on the link in my DGO library, and I hover over this little thing with the arrow coming out of it. Click the annotated link. I copy this right here, and I'm going to go back to my Weebly. This time I'm going to grab a button. I'm going to grab a button, and I'm going to move it over to the right of this Haiku Deck there. And there's my button text is in there. So now I'm going to move this over a little bit so that my Haiku Deck still shows in there. And then the button text, and I'm going to call this the annotated link. Okay, and then I'm going to click here and center that. So I'm going to change my button style to the green button. Oops, I'm going to miss that button. Then I'm going to click the link, and I want it to go to the link that I just copied a second ago. I want it to open up in a link and save it there. So now I have created my, so I'm going to go and not, oh, this time it's going to, okay, that worked. Okay, so we'll see if that actually took there. Yep, it stayed on there. So let's save, and clear out of that. So I've got my annotated link in there. Now, next thing on here it says is I'm going to link or embed to a research plan with the following. It's going to have grade level content. So what I'm going to do is go over to my research lesson, building a research lesson. This is what I've shared with you guys. So you'll find the file that's called building a research lesson, and then once you get to that, all you'll want to do is this has a nice template for you to create this research lesson. So I'm just going to go to File and make a copy, and then that will just create a copy form. You guys have actually already done this, but this, if you forgot where you put it, you can just do make a copy, and you can just call it your name research lesson. So change your name to your actual name. You click OK, and then you're ready to go on your research lesson. The first thing you're going to need to do is establish what grade level and content area. So this would be for my, I'm going to call this, actually do this actual lesson, my 6th grade science. And the objective is the students, the sweet box, students will be able to identify and describe the components of a search page. And actually, I should just identify the components of a search page and describe how the results change when the search term is changed. So one of the first things I'll be using is this particular document right here. It's a document of sample search results with digging a little bit deeper each time. So the first search result is global warming, the second search result is global warming kids, and the third search result is global warming kids site:/gov, and you can see how the search results kind of get a little bit more refined every time. So I'm going to click share because this is the document that I'll be using first. And I'm going to get the shareable link. And there is the shareable link. I'm going to change that from people at Jesuit Academy. I want anyone with the link to be able to view this. I'm going to save that. Copy this link here. And I'm going to go back to my Weebly. And, or actually, sorry, back to this. I'm going to say, give students this document with various search results. I'm pasting that document there. Right there. Okay. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have students circle, square, and underline the search term, the title of the sites that pop up, web link for the sites, and then also I'm going to have them identify in ads. I want them to know all the different parts of that, and then ultimately is we will look at how the sites change with different search terms, and my assessment will be for them to search a new topic and see how the search results change and they change search term. So they'll be able to, students will be able to choose their own. Give them a topic, they won't be able to choose their own, give them a topic. So there is my lesson right there, pretty simple research lesson. I've got an objective, I've got the activities, I've got the assessment, I've got the grade level. So now all I need to do is get that onto my Weebly site. So I click on share. I want to make sure that I get a shareable link that is shareable with the public, so I can have this anyone can view, anyone can view. So I copy that, come back over here to my Weebly, I'm going to grab another one of those buttons, and I'm just going to call this right there. I'm going to call this the research lesson. So it's the research lesson. And I'll put the link in there, and I'll paste in the link. Save. Now we're good. So we now have the research lesson linked. We have our annotated link, and we have got that. So I'll clear out of that, and I'll click down here. Now I'll go back to the rubric, and it says now I need to go to my Google slide that I created. So this is going to be in the class edits folder. I don't have that particular account up right now, so I can just go here, and I can just go to any presentation that I've created. And look here, I've got Google presentation tips. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and open that real quick. And this is an important step that you need to do if you want to share a presentation on the page. So for this particular presentation, normally we would go to the share button to share things, and you can still use that share button a lot, but if you want to publish something and embed it on your web page, you need to go to the File menu, and you can go to File, Publish to the Web. So once you click File, Publish to the Web, you'll actually get another screen which says, do you really want to do this? And you say yes. You're going to click on Embed. I'm going to make this a little smaller. I'm actually going to make it the 480 by 389 size. I'm going to copy this iframe code that is under here, make sure I can get all of it. Page. And underneath my IQ deck here, I'm going to grab another embed code. I'm going to drop it underneath there. And then let's just click Set Customers to Know. I'm going to Just paste that in there. Oops, I messed up my pasting there, so I'll recopy that code. Really gonna paste it. Paste that in there. Paste in there. Center it, and now my presentation that I created will be in there for how to use Google Presentation, Google Slides tips. So we've got that taken care of, so I can get rid of that. The next thing on the rubric here is I want to embed a Google form. So you guys created a Google form for sort of a parent letter home, and I'm just going to go here and I'm going to view by all types of forms, but opens with Google Forms, and I'm going to find the Google form that I have here. Do a quick search, and I'll find what's up top. So just go by last modify here. And here, I've got a tutoring form. So this is a form that I use for tutors who come. So I just want to open that form up. And once that comes up here, you'll see the form that you've created. If you want to make any modifications to it, you can. But on this one now, we just want to go to, actually scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you want to click on where it says Send Form. And you want to click on where it says Embed. So on embed there, I want to make this probably a little bit less wide. So I'm going to make it just 300 by 500. I'm going to make it actually 350 by 500. I'm going to click down there. So I forgot to actually grab the code. So let me try that one more time. I'll grab the embed, change that to 350. I'll click on the code. I'll copy the code. I'll go back to my readme here. I'm going to grab another one of those embed codes. I'm going to put it right down the side here. I'm going to put it right underneath here, right to the side of that, right there. So that's where that's going to drop in at. It just decides it wants to drop in there. There it goes. So I can scroll down. It says, hey, click there. I'm going to paste in my code. Click on that. Should be good to go. So there's my form that I just dropped in there pretty easily. And now let's go on to the next thing here. So it says you want to create a curated list with sources for a unit in your content area. So you could use all these different tools, Digo, Guru, BlendSpace, Redlist.me, or Lesson Paths. I happen to have a BlendSpace. And so for instance, here are sites to use for study tools. So I'm going to go ahead and click share on that. And I want to embed it. So again, I'm going to grab this, copy that, go back to my readme page, and once again, I'm going to drop an embed code. I'm going to put this under every single thing here, so it goes all the way across. And there we go. Okay, scroll down, and I can see that that is right there. So I'm going to click to set the customer small, I'm going to paste that in, center it, and now my BlendSpace is in there. So I've got BlendSpace, all those different things ready to go. And then moving on, so I've got my BlendSpace with my list of resources that show, interact, and create. Then I want to link to a photo-themed lesson. For the photo-themed lesson, we're going to use kind of the same template here. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually just copy this and then delete this, because then I can say, this is my copy that in the same document. I'm going to paste it on there. And I will say that this is the photo lesson. Photo lesson. And so this time my photo themed lesson was actually for 7th grade civics class. The objective is I wanted students to be able to make a political commercial in which they take a side on 2 issues. So students will be able to make a political commercial in which they research and take a side on 2 issues. So this actually was a multi-day lesson, but I'll just kind of go over what we did on the day of filming. So students have previously written a script. One student at a time films their script. It is displayed on the projector. And while other students look at civics, filming going on, and then videos are uploaded to a Google Drive folder. So the assessment then is actually something we're still working on, but the assessment is students will edit their movie into a full political version. Now, if I were doing kind of a full-scale lesson, I'd do a lot more than this, but just a quick example of that, I can go over to here and I can just jump into one of these here and go ahead and find one that's a good one to share. I'll just go ahead and see what we can do with this one here. So I can go and share that. And again, I want to get a shareable link. And anyone, again, I'm going to change that from anyone to Azure Academy to anyone with the link can view. Save it, copy my link, and go back over to Weebly here. And this time, I'm going to say, I'm actually just going to say, actually I don't need to do that. Click that off because I forgot. I'm going to put this on the bottom here. So I'm going to say the example. Photo themed lesson is there. And so what I've done here is I've basically taken my research lesson and my photo themed lesson. I've just put them on the same document. I find that that's a lot easier. So now when we go back to Weebly, I can actually say this is also research slash photo lesson. And that's kind of 2 for 1 there. Now moving on, I can go back to here. And I've got my curated list, I've got my photo themed lesson. It says I want to include one other example from a digital portfolio. It can be from Evernote, a blog, and then Moto page. I would highly recommend doing Evernote. The Evernote is a really easy thing to do. In my case, I'm actually going to do a blog. So, or I guess, yeah, a blog would be a great thing to use. And so for this, I have a blog that I write on now about once a year since I've had kids. But I can just link to this blog right here, so if you actually want to know more about how to make Weebly a little more work for you so that you can see if you create your Weebly site and you want other people to be able to search for it and find it, you can do this. So this would be another digital portfolio example. So I'm going to grab one more button here. Let's see if I can get it to drop in right there. Oops, I missed it there. To my button there. That's my button. Just grab it. Let's try that one more time here. Now I've permanently lost that button. Not sure where it went there. But what I can do here then is grab it here. It's like, I'm not sure where that went. Okay, let's try that again here with the button. See, sometimes Weebly messes up like this, so I'll just press refresh here. It saves all of my things automatically, so if at some point your Weebly starts to misbehave a little bit, just click the refresh button, and everything will come back to normal here. And this may look crazy, like, oh, where all my stuff goes, because it's on my digital portfolio page, which was a new page that I created. So I go back to my digital portfolio page, and I see everything that I had created from before. So I'm going to go back to that button, which is what I want to do. Grab it, drop it right, and then just put it up in between those two there. And I'll call this one, this was the, what was this one again here? This was the other digital portfolio, so this would just be a blog example. You don't have to use a blog, you can use Evernote. I would. I'll put in my link for that. So if I just click on this page here, I'm having some trouble with these buttons right now. Let's see what happens if I delete it. Oh, I'll do that back to me. Let's try it one more time here. Weebly can be a little sensitive sometimes, so try it one more time. This time it says, yeah, there we go. So it says this was the research lesson, but the blog example. Paste in my blog link there. Alright, so there, now if we go back to this, I can kind of check over everything. I have a best worst lesson, which is the haiku deck. I've got a Digo annotated link. I've got a research lesson on there on a document that I've linked. I've got a Google slide things. I've got a form embedded. I've got a curated list of show, interact, create things. I created on blank space. I've got a photo themed lesson, which is on the same document as the research lesson. And ultimately, I've got one other example of things from a digital portfolio. In this case, it was a blog. So now, all I have to do is click on here and click publish on my website, and that website will be published in pursuit of a 100% day.weebly.com. So that is all for now, and I hope that you enjoyed this screencast. I'm going to see if I can exit out. Do the screencast here. I'm going to